Have you ever want to know the cost of running a boat per year? Well, in this short video, we are going to take you through all the costs of running our Mary Fisher 895. Welcome back to the Rudder. My name's Brooke and this is Damien, and we are here at home on our beautiful pontoon, and we thought, how much does it cost to run our boat for a year?
So we've fixed a beverage because we've never run the numbers before. So this is something a little bit new. I guess one of the key things is when you are looking at boats, or if you've got a boat and you're thinking about comparing them, the general rule of thumb is 10% of the cost of a boat. So let's see if we can beat that, how we go with running Antoinette, our Mary Fisher 895. So this is for 1 year, and we'll see how we go. You ready?
Now we're very conscious that BOAT stands for bring out another 1,000.
And you can also check that out between owning your own boat, going boat share, renting, what works best for you. And it really is about what works best for you. These figures are kind of for us, but depending on how you use your boat also changes the numbers.
I mean, we often go away for a couple of days, so it brings down the daily cost. We go quite a little distance from home, so if we were to just do that for a one-nighter, it might not be as economical. So we try to go away for 2 or 3 nights at a time, which sort of brings down the daily cost. Well, that's the way we justify it anyway.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's hit the numbers. So the first thing is how you buy your boat. So buying the boat, we're not going to go into that bit. There's prices change every single month, but you might have the opportunity to buy it outright in cash. You might need to get a loan. You might need to redraw your mortgage. However you get the money together, you may have costs, you may not have costs on that. So we're not going to really get into that. That's a kind
we'll leave
of
that
boat
to the side.
Buying side of it, but you might have to add that in, loan costs, if you are going down that route.
Yeah.
But some costs that you can't get away from. Registration. Queensland government's going to register. It's actually pretty cheap. For a fairly nice vessel, it's $400 to register the vessel for the year.
Now that's obviously going to be different in different states and also wherever you are around the world. So yeah, make sure you factor in registration costs.
Insurance. Definitely insure your boat, depending on if you want to ski off the back of it. Very expensive to ski off the back of an 895, but you can take that off your insurance. That saves you a little bit. We're insured with Club Marine. This isn't an ad or anything. We've used them for a few years on several boats. They have paid out on a mistake I made on a previous boat.
So should we tell our viewers about the mistake? So
briefly.
Our previous boat, let's just say the setup was a little bit different to what we've got on the Mary Fisher, and the inlet where you put the water in was right next to where you put the fuel in. And so someone accidentally put the hose to fill up the water tank into the fuel tank. So that was a little bit of a boo-boo. I've never seen Damien so pale and ill before, but that wasn't on this boat. So we're lucky that we had insurance and that actually they paid out for that.
And they accepted that, and as an accident, which it truly was. So at the moment, insurance costs are going up. I've had a look through a few years, but at the moment, we are paying $2,150. Comments below if you've got other options. Definitely I'd go for a well-verified boat insurer. So yeah, $2,150 for insurance. The other annual cost...
Super important to insure your boat.
Definitely insure
your boat. Definitely insure your boat.
Other thing you should be doing annually is servicing your boat. So servicing outboards, I think, is much better from having an inboard, which, I don't know, the service costs just seemed to be a rough guide, and then there was always something else broken. With the outboards, it's just been a straight service every time we've gone in, and that also benefits if you've got a newer boat. The newer the boat, hopefully there's less broken things. Hey. And,
we've got puppies everywhere here.
So service, we service with the dealer, with Yamaha, so that's $3,000 a year.
With Northside Marine.
With Northside Marine.
Yep.
So $3,000, and that includes the lift out and all that other stuff. Talking of lift out, we do save a few pennies here. because we're a clean skin. So we don't have any anti-foul, so we don't need to do that every year. On previous boats we've had, that is around about $2,000 a year,
Yep.
depending on how big your boat is and things. So that is a cost we don't have. So
What we actually found was a previous boat, we had it anti-fouled, and by the time, I don't even think we got 12 months out of it, you could feel it would really struggle to get up onto the plane because of all the growth. So we love having a clean skin boat. The cost of getting a fab dock, we were lucky enough we've got a fab dock, you can get a C pen, and there's Docky Dock and all different types of ones internationally. We were lucky enough to pick ours up secondhand. I think it was about $5,000 or $6,000. And again, it was just right place, right time, because the person just wanted to offload it. They didn't need it anymore. So they can cost up to sort of 20,000,
yeah, 12
new.
to 20.
So again, the bigger your boat, the bigger the size. So, but that's a once-off cost.
And that brings up another really important idea, is where are you going to store your boat? This is not trailable really in Australia. You might be storing it at a marina, definitely have costs there. You might be dry storing it.
Yep.
We are so fortunate to live here.
This is our backyard,
and we
so
can
we're
do
pretty
this.
lucky.
So the fab dock is our storage, so the sort of $5,000 up front was our storage costs. But yeah, you need to sort of, where you're going to put your boat, where you're going to store it. If it is a smaller vessel, maybe you can put it on a trailer, so there's a good saving there.
And also, if you're international, a lot of people have to pull their boat out in winter.
Winterizing. Yep.
So yeah, we don't have those costs. So make sure you factor those in. So that's just a quick overview of the annual costs, but we've got to get into the nitty gritty now. We're talking about maintenance, we're talking about upgrades, and just general making sure your boat stays up to scratch. There's a couple of things that we've been forced to do. The first one of which is our new awning and covers. Unfortunately, the ones that we had previously, which were black, they started to tear apart. So we recently just got these beautiful white. We changed the look.
Check out the video.
Yeah, we changed the look of our boat by getting this white canvas awning, and we really love it.
That required a little bit of a drink when we got the bill for that one.
Yeah, we got the quote, and that was a little bit. So yeah,
more than we expected.
A little bit more than expected, but yeah, at the end of the day, bring out another 1,000. Actually, bring out 5,000 for that. But yeah, it's done.
And these things, obviously, they're going to change every time, but you can put a ballpark in that you probably need to keep several $1,000s on hand for whatever breaks, what you want to upgrade through the year. So
what we do actually is we've got this little bank account that transfers a little bit every week, and that money just builds up. So it's already spent.
It's already spent.
It makes it easier to have to. Yeah, it's boat money.
And
so yeah.
One of the other ones, which you'll see in our videos, we redid our batteries. That was really important to us. We spend a lot of time at anchor, so having very good house batteries and reliable batteries makes your boating experience much less
stressful.
Stress-inducing.
Yep.
So it was, once again, one of those costs that I didn't think was going to be quite as much as it was. The batteries ended up at $3,500. So they're two pretty big costs. And generally, throughout our boating history, every year there's kind of been one bigger cost that we didn't really expect to happen, up into the several thousands. So as we say, keep a little stash in your bank accounts.
Keep a kitty on the side.
So when those things happen, you're prepared. But then there's some other jobs that we do on the boat that are our own muscle power, which make it a little bit cheaper. One of those was we recently redid the teak.
Yep, so I decided that I really wanted that nice honey colour, so we got some products and we redid it. So it was actually quite a rewarding process to see the teak come back to life. It was quite grey, especially on the back where it does get a lot of sun. So yeah, that's a little bit of elbow grease, but it paid off in the end. And
it does pay off in the end, because that only cost $300 for the literal things that we needed to do it, so we didn't pay any labour.
Yep.
All that labour was our own. So I guess there's a story there.
Oh, there's one more thing that you've forgotten actually.
No.
You got a couple more?
Oh, okay. What have I?
Oh, have you missed out? So a couple of years ago, we got someone to come and do the polishing of the entire boat. But since then, Damien tries to, because we're in the Australian sun, Damien tries to do a little bit at a time and keeps that up to scratch.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a cost, and it's quite rewarding. You try and do it in winter time so that it's not as scorching. So yeah,
detailing.
detailing.
So probably should do it every 6 months, and that was $1,500 to get the boat detailed.
Which is pretty good. Yeah.
So yeah, if you can avoid those costs and put in a bit of your own blood, sweat and tears, it does lower the price. And I guess that's where my next cost came in, which was just the equipment you need to clean and maintain the boat.
Yep.
So all your cleaning materials, boat stuff just tends to cost a little bit more. I know there are some sneak tricks out there for using some different stuff. Drop them in the comments if you want to. But basically, our polishers, our waxes, our cleaners, the hull, anti-slip stuff to clean that. All up, that's around about $250 a year. So
Which is pretty good.
That's not too bad.
Yep.
All right, the one that probably everyone wants to know about. We did the efficiency video earlier in the year. Now let's get on to the cost of the petrol.
You kind of need a little bit of another account just for money to slip into here. We call it our holiday account.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we use our boat a lot as our holidays. So it's a little thirsty. It's a little thirsty.
It's less thirsty than an inboard.
Well, it's less thirsty. I mean, if you go with the tide and the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can make a big difference on the efficiency.
There is heaps of variables around this. We generally do over 100 hours a year. So I guess we'd be considered quite high boat users. So we average around about 120 hours a year, give or take a few hours every year. A lot of those hours also are not at high speed. So because we're up in the canal system, I've just got Molly right under the camera there in case, there we go.
We actually spend, every time we go out, we usually spend 2 hours just cruising at 6 knots.
Just because of the canals?
Yeah, so by the time we can get up into the fast zone, because we are over 8 meters, we do have to do a lot of cruising, which doesn't really phase us. We usually throw everything in the boat and set it up, the food, and on the way home I often do the pack down and the cleaning, so it is time well spent. And we think, well, at least we're not driving to a boat ramp and having to deal with all the traffic.
And we get to pack.
We get to cruise the canals and look at the nice houses.
With all that, 120 hours, give or take for us, I've estimated that around about 2/3 of them, 80 hours, would be going quite slow. There's slow zones also up, through the boardwater and other places, and also when you're going into anchor, when you're going into marina, all those places you're going slow. So I reckon about 2/3 of our time is at quite a leisurely 6 knots, and I'm generally making that about 10 litres an hour. Give or take on the tide, it can be 6 or it can be 14. Let's say 10 litres an hour. Doing the maths on that, we're going slow, that's about $1,600.
Now, let's talk about how you get fuel. So if you are to get fuel on the water, so go to a fuel dock on the water, we found that it's 15 to 20 cents more expensive per litre. So if you can, Damien's got some, what do you call them?
Jerry cans?
Yeah, jerry cans.
20 litre jerry cans.
He throws them in the back of his car, in his four-wheel drive, and does some trips in between, especially if you're smart and you get it on the price cycle for the fuels when the price cycle's low, you can save a bit of money. So,
so I'm doing the maths on, at the moment in Australia, our fuel prices are all over the place. I'm doing the maths on 2 litres.
Yeah, they can go up and down by 40 cents. So you can get it at 180 a litre, or you can get it at $2.30 a litre. So yeah, as I said, if you can time it right and get it off on land and fill up your boat that way, it makes it a lot more cost effective.
So going slow, 800 litres, $1,600 a year. If you've done your maths, 120 hours, we've already counted up 80 hours. So I reckon we do around 40 hours at about 24 knots.
But there's a few hours where you like to get a little smile on your face and put the throttle down.
In general, 24 is our cruising, 22 to 24. And when we're doing 24 knots, we're using around about 60 litres an hour. Mm-hmm. So it's certainly a lot more economical than some of the inboards. If you want to go flat out, you can use 140 litres an hour if you really want to with those 400 horsepowers. But 40 hours, 60 litres an hour, that's $4,800 at $2 a litre.
Yep.
So let's have a drink. As I say, I haven't added this up before, but we do about $6,500 in petrol every year. Didn't know that.
I did not hear that figure until just then, so I'm going to unhear that.
We talked at the very beginning around trying to break that 10% number. If you've been counting everything up, we're just a touch over $20,000 a year, which is much less than 10%.
Oh yeah, it is.
So,
our boat's worth around $300,000, so yeah.
Obviously your
Well
numbers
done.
can go up and down a little bit, so we use $20,900 a year. In the last year, if your petrol costs go up, obviously things change, everything sort of goes up. But that is how much it costs to run Antoinette.
And interestingly, last year because I keep a captain's log, and every time we go out at anchor, I note down where we've anchored and how many nights we've spent. We actually spent an entire month, so 28 days on board Antoinette last year. So we do, as Damien said, we do get a lot of use out of our boat, which we're really grateful for. We're very picky when we go out. If it's a little bit rainy or too much wind, we will avoid it. But
rainy today.
Yeah,
so
we're really fortunate that we can just literally walk down our backyard and grab and jump on our boat. Also too, we're in a really fortunate position where actually here winter is the better time to do boating. There's less people on the waterways, and it's just the water's clear and clean and calm. So we do get that 365 days a year where we can access and go boating. So we do get a lot of use out of it.
All right. Well, I hope that's answered some of your questions. If you've got some more, leave them in the comments
Let us
down
know
below.
what we forgot.
What did we forget?
Oh dear.
It's probably more cost. Obviously, we haven't done food and beverages and all those sorts of things. That's very up to everyone's own taste.
That's right.
We also don't really stay at marinas, so we haven't had any of those costs. We usually are at anchor, or if you do day boating. So, as I said at the beginning, it is a lot around how you use your boat.
Let us know what we missed out on. Boating is such a pleasure and a joy. So, it's good to spend money on a hobby that you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the comments box below, and we'll see you next time on the Rudder.